Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Oh boy. Okay, hi. Hey, good morning to you. It's a Friday. It's a nice, cool, almost autumnal-like Friday morning. And it's our last hour together until next week, which, by the way, just to update you, things are still a bit in flux, but definitely starting to congeal as to where we'll be broadcasting from in the future. And I think I will be here in this place at City Paper next week, certainly. Whether or not we can still not take calls, it's sort of looking that way. So maybe one more week of having to listen to me or not. I mean, you don't have to. Blather on by myself. I really could use your thoughts on email in as much as you have time and or the inclination. That's lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Because I don't know about you, but I do not enjoy listening to myself for an hour. I really don't. Especially in these times, because it's easy to talk yourself into despair or a corner or whatever. So let's not despair yet. Let's talk about this poor woman who won all that money in Massachusetts. I don't know why. I look at her smiling face, and who wouldn't? I mean, she just came into $700+ million, which is something that is not just life-changing, it's sort of life-shattering. So I don't know why she's smiling, because here is a woman whose life has begun to just blow up. The world as she knew it for her, how old is she? For her 50-some years, it's gone. She's assuming that this means everything's going to be fine now. It is true. Financial anxiety is a wonderful thing to have lifted off your back. But this amount of money, and what she really pockets is $336 million. That's after lump sum, after taxes on the windfall. So as she clears $336 million. $1 million is probably something people can handle without losing their balance. 10 million is already getting into knocking you for a loop. 336 million puts you in a world you don't know, and you don't know how to navigate. And the anxiety, it's a different kind of financial anxiety. And people who don't have a lot of money, who imagine that if they could get rid of the economic anxiety that they have, which is wondering how are we going to pay that bill or this bill, how are we going to get the kids to be able to go to college, how am I going to safeguard my retirement, $1 million could do wonders for all of that. But 336 million just creates an entire different kind of anxiety. And this poor soul doesn't know it yet. She's going to. I hope she handles it. I hope her family handles it. It always freaks me out how happy people are. And then some of them make it. Some of them do. I've never seen a definitive study of how many people who have, let's say, gotten more than $100 million in a lottery win or something, how they are doing 5 years later, 10 years later, whatever. We see occasional stories of people who have lost their minds or committed suicide or I wish her luck. And I understand her joy at the moment. But the poor dear just doesn't know where she's heading. I know whenever I talk about this, nobody believes what I'm saying. But I've been around a lot of rich people, and I mean millionaires, multi-millionaires, and they don't have the same level of, obviously, financial anxiety that most of us do, but they are not happier. I got news for you. And they're not being asked by every Tom, Dick, and Harry for help. I mean, that amount of money is way too much for any one person. It is for any one family, let alone people who have no idea maybe how to wisely manage it. And I've often thought, what would I do with something like that? To me, it would be a nightmare. It would. A nightmare. But I can say that because I am financially secure. But that would be a nightmare. Because, I mean, my inclination would be immediately to set up some kind of foundation and then hire people. Find a mission of some sort for the foundation, a charitable foundation of some sort, and then handle all of the worthy folks who come asking for help. Because when you've got that kind of money, people who really have a crying need for it come and ask. And that alone can make you crazy. Yeah. So I don't know. God bless her. I hope to hell, Mavis. What a name. That's a name. Do you know a Mavis? Do you know any Mavis any person named Mavis under 50 years old? Nah. That's not a name that people name their babies anymore, Mavis. And Mavis, I feel for you because I got a name like that too, for those of you who know what my real name is. Yeah, so the Massachusetts treasurer said, I hope. See, she knows what's going to happen to him. I highly encourage them to find some very, very good lawyers and advisors and to think very, very carefully about. Mavis doesn't know from these kind of lawyers or advisors. She is easy pickings. I hope she gets Mavis. God bless you, dear, but God bless her. I've never bought a lottery ticket, and I never will. There are certain absolutes in my life that maybe don't make any real sense, but, I'm just an obstinate kind of a person, so I will not buy a lottery ticket. And I will not go to Las Vegas. There's just something about, I hate gambling, and I hate gambling as a governmental function, as a way of taxing people. I'm so opposed to it that, whatever. Las Vegas has not the gambling so much, is the tawdriness, is the kitsch and the, bad, just the architecture, the vibe from what I see of it. I would not ever want to step foot in what looks to me like hell on earth. That's what Las Vegas looks like to me. I'm not kidding. So I went to the casino here once, and I think I had post-traumatic stress disorder when I left. How can people stomach that environment? It's everything I cannot I cannot deal with in all kinds of ways. Okay. What do we got here? We have 2 emails. Let's check them out. Scott writes, "Thank you for using the term yesterday, people of goodwill. There are many people of goodwill who listen and learn from you." God, thank you. Please keep up your wonderful work. I don't know. I spread goodwill sometimes. Sometimes not. Sometimes I'm just a nattering nabob of negativism. Quick, who said it? Who wrote it? You know your history? Who said it? Who wrote it? Nattering nabobs of negativism. Obviously somebody who was really into alliteration. Yeah, it was, Alex just walked in. It was uttered by the Vice President of the United States at the time, soon to be a convict, Spiro Agnew, one of Nixon's great choices. And it was written, however, by one of Nixon's speechwriters, a guy named William Safire, who had a way with words and ended up at the New York Times writing a column. Nattering nabobs of negativism. I'm somebody who, when I was writing a lot, had to sort of sit on my impulse to alliterate all the time. I still have trouble with it. I don't know why alliteration is bad. It's bad if it's overused. I guess it's okay if it's there to do a quick punch or something. Okay, so although there are many people of goodwill. That set something off in my head that just went in one ear and out the other, and I'm sorry that I'm missing it now. Denise writes about the lottery, because I for Alex's sake, I mentioned that I actually feel sorry for this woman. She doesn't even know her life as she knew it. All her life has exploded, and that's a kind of thing that creates a kind of stress, and I feel for her. I hope she keeps her balance. I do. Saying all that, I'm sure you would have happily won that money. Would you?
I don't know. They have these. There's a great documentary about lottery winners, and it's almost always bad.
I was saying, have there been studies, real studies done, follow-ups of people who won, let's say, over 100 mil, and how they are doing 5-10 years down the road?
Well, I mean, in the movie that I saw, there's just a lot of they're just alienated from their friends.
Well, sure
their
they
friends
are.
sort of resent them, and then
That's
they
right.
resent their friends right back.
That's right.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
Too much
It immediately removes them from everything they knew. And they become, you're right, it's alienating.
Yeah.
I feel for her. Was she chewing gum while she was doing I just looked up for a second, and I thought, while she was standing there grinning and, understandably happy, I thought she was chewing gum, and I thought, Mavis, not ready for your close-up. No, you don't chew gum on, international television. It's just not. But it just further underscores, man, this poor woman is going to be.
How much is it?
Well, what she walks away with after taking the lump sum, which, by the way, is stupid, if you ask me.
It also probably worsens the effects of what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It shows already she ain't thinking straight.
Yeah.
Do the annuity. And, oh, my, then you might only get what? $10 million a year? I mean, I don't know. What does the annuity spit out?
Then
it does keep you from going totally batshit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so the lump sum payment was $480 million. But after paying the taxes on it, she pockets $336 million, which now sounds like nothing, right? Wait, I thought it was 700. Yeah, 336 million. But it's stupid. I mean, again, it shows unwise.
Yeah.
And almost everybody does the lump sum. Have you ever heard anybody do the annuity?
No.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, ever win one of these big ones, do the annuity. That's the first thing like a financial advisor would say. It's not like you'll be starving to death just if you take the annuity.
Yeah, a little forced discipline.
Yeah, only 10 mil. Only 10 mil a year. I mean, come on. It's impossible to spend that kind of money. You can't. You can't spend it, and then you can't even give it away. I mean, you could, but I mean, if you want to do it, again, thoughtfully, good God, it would just be, wow. Wow. All right, so Denise says, I was astonished to see the lady who won the Powerball on television so soon. It's another indication she isn't thinking straight, that she's clueless. Poor soul. That's what I mean, poor soul. I looked at her, I thought, oh, Mavis. Denise says, I was reading an article the day before about how to stay anonymous if you do something like this, in as much as you can. Yeah, she did exactly the opposite. I felt bad for her, especially when she said she was going to hide in her bed. Not an auspicious start. And it's not going to get any easier. I didn't know she said that. Well, she's in shock. I mean, you would be in shock. And even though I feel for her head's exploded. Her head's exploding on a daily basis. All the people around her, everything has changed. She's not who she was, and she's not in a world she knew. Be careful what you wish for. Anyway, back to Denise. Sorry, Denise. You keep making me go. Someone I know used to say about these big jackpots, yep, that's about enough to screw up your life. Yeah, that's it. And people, you know, you try to have this conversation with people, and people say, all right, bring it on. Let's screw my life up. And I guess you say it because, well, it's partly bravado, but most people think if it happened to me, I can handle that. A good win would be $1 million. Right? $1 million. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's life-changing, but doesn't blow it up. It just takes the economic anxiety away and it gives you a cushion to live your life in a much more unfettered way, right?
Yeah. Maybe like whatever it would be, like 3 or 4 yearly salaries, whatever that is. Maybe that's a healthy thing to win.
Okay. Because then you think somebody can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy. Oh, Margaret's saying that Massachusetts law does not allow you to be anonymous? How's that? Really? You have to disclose a lottery win? What? To me? I don't think she might have to disclose. Oh, so the press would get a hold of it. I don't know. There's not enough information there. Okay. So yesterday we were talking somewhat about this hurricane. Uh-oh. Yeah, I said Harvey, was depleted to like a dying tropical storm, and then it got some Hurricane Viagra and just came on gangbusters. And now, there's these different models. The meteorologists in Europe use one model for trying to figure out what might happen. We use another one. I think we've got 2 different models. The European models, if my anecdotal memory is correct, is often the right one. The Europeans seem to have And I got to tell you, the European model on this one is frightening. Because it says they see it doing what is a nightmare. It's already a nightmare in that it went from a tropical storm to that was supposed to just die to now, what is it, stage 2 or even 3 hurricane? I don't know. I think they expect it to be 3 when it makes landfall. But they see it stalling out. We were talking yesterday or the other day about stalling out. Or no, you weren't here. I was saying, I read, and I don't remember what, but if it stalls and just keeps dropping, I forgot what I'd heard, was it? And I just picked a number out of the air. 20 inches they could get. And that was low. That's not what it was. It's higher than that. The flooding extraordinary. We're talking potential disaster here, obviously. And this would be President Trump's first natural disaster to deal with. And was somebody kidding when they said he's off on vacation again? Oh, my God. He's heading to he's going to oversee it from, the fourth tee, I guess. I don't know. And then we were happily surprised to find that there is actually someone in charge at FEMA. The more I've done research on him, it doesn't look good. He might not be like, "You done a good job, great job, Brownie." Remember him? But this guy is somebody who is known for saying to anyone who will ask him here, says here, that he stressed in interviews with the Washington Post that it is not the federal government's responsibility alone to respond to natural disasters. Well, I mean, we all know that. I mean, of course, local responders are going to respond, but he is saying, you local people, you state people, you need to improve your emergency readiness and not look to the federal government. This is classic coming from people who constantly want to cut the resources of the federal government. Here's another quote from him. People need to be the help before the help arrives. Which is a nice way, I guess, of saying you're on your own, right? Ha ha, you're on your own. There's something ironic about these disasters always seemingly to hit red states, too, more than not. And people who don't believe in government intervention, people strong individualists who do believe in doing it themselves, and who don't believe in climate change and don't believe in, sending their tax dollars to the federal government, right? Until something like this happens. And I read some disquieting things that while people are running for their lives now in Texas, southern Texas has a rather large population of undocumented workers, or what Republicans like to call illegal aliens, thus depriving them of even their humanity. Illegal aliens. For them to run, I've read some things saying that they're afraid to run for help. They're afraid, to go to a shelter. They're afraid to do in any way that will put them in the government's hands, because the government that they're dealing with will just grab them up and throw them back from whence they came. So there's a lot of, people in Texas are afraid, but people who don't have the proper papers are really afraid. Little Tony says, I was surprised the big lottery winner came out so soon, too. They usually get a lawyer. She's screwed.
Yeah, that's what he said. Get lawyers.
She's screwed. So, Mavis. All right. They usually get a lawyer or financial advisor or something for coming out publicly. I think Mavis should have waited. Yeah, well, but she didn't, Tony. She should have. And she should have gotten some advice. And she shouldn't have been chewing gum. I'm sorry. I know doesn't rise to the level of all the other. See, look at poor Mavis. She was a clerical worker in some hospital. And today she's got people like me chastising her for chewing gum. Her life, Mavis, your life. Make Hurricane Harvey look like nothing. And FEMA ain't coming to help you either. Little Tony says, hope she isn't taken advantage of. Oh, I can't imagine that she would be. I wouldn't mind winning a lottery, but I would hate losing my privacy. I used to play the cash 5 sometimes, but I don't even do that anymore. What I hate the most about the big lottery jackpots is the local news giving them so much free advertising. Well, everybody just gets into it. I don't know. Have you ever bought a lottery ticket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here and there.
Really?
Yeah, just for the hell of it.
Okay.
You?
You just felt like throwing some money away, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I did.
But
Jeez, I've got this hankering to just throw some money away here, so let me give it to the state. That's what. See, I have never, ever.
You ever considered it?
Nope.
I have to say, though, when you go to the convenience store or something like that, or a gas station, you see those people in there, it takes forever. They got to put their numbers in. It's really exhausting. It makes me kind of
Well, now
sad.
they're all, when you go into a state store now, they have them.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they have them everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. But it takes forever because they have to, put
I
in
don't
their
know.
number.
I don't even know.
You don't know.
I don't know anything about it. I don't even understand the games. I don't know. I know it's about picking numbers. But no, I don't know one game from the other.
I always assumed I would just give it away.
Well, I assumed I would keep a reasonable share if I were to come into a windfall like this and set up immediately, yes, a charitable foundation.
Yeah.
I would put professional folks, I would hire them.
Yeah.
You see, and then right away I become, somebody who employs people to deal with my money. But yeah, figure out what my mission is, where I would want to help.
ACLU, Planned Parenthood.
Well, that's who I give to now, but I could broaden my reach. I don't know. You can't spend it all. I'm telling you that right now. And, living in some big hoo-ha mansion, big friggin' deal, buying more expensive. I mean, after a while, it just, stuff doesn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear that, but you still think, not me. I would handle that. I could handle that. I know I could. Wouldn't lose my balance one bit. Keep all my friends. Right. Susie says there was a show on TLC that followed lottery winners. It was a pretty sad show, I bet. So many of them couldn't handle it. Many went bankrupt and sadly went back to work. They were angry that they had won the money. They spent wildly and unwisely. A few who won multiple lotteries knew how to handle it and were doing well. Oh, you mean they screwed up the first time, then they won another big one? Jeez. Yeah, I think so. I bet it's a minority that handle it well. And Mavis is not inspiring confidence from the get-go, I just want to say. And Jim says, I don't know if it's still true, but the reason to take the lump sum is that you cannot will the remaining amount to your heirs. Well, if it's in an annuity in your name, that's your money. I don't understand that. I mean, an annuity has a beneficiary, doesn't it? I don't know. When it comes to this stuff, I don't know. But it doesn't make sense that they would say, okay, you can take the lump sum or you can put it in an annuity, and if you die tomorrow, you get nothing. I mean, that doesn't make sense. A Canadian lottery official once told the Jim is in Toronto. That's what he's always talking. Well, in Canada, it might be different, Jim. A Canadian lottery official once told the CBC, that's Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, about a woman who won $10 million. She lost it all because she built 3 houses. One for her sister, one for her mother, and one for herself. But couldn't then keep them up. Taxes, utility maintenance. I mean, well, if you've never had that kind of money, you do not know what to do. You don't think it's sad.
And then expensive things cost a lot of money to maintain.
Absolutely. And once you go down that road, you want the big house? Okay. Then you gotta, take care of the big house. This idiot builds 3. 10 million she managed to lose. Wow. Well, I don't know. Okay, so wait, guys. Getting a lot of emails in here. Roger writes, a friend of mine hit the lottery for $1 million a year ago. Oh, really? Wow. And it looks like it's a perfect fit. Well, I said $1 million's a good thing to win. You either fritter it away immediately, but it doesn't totally destroy your life, or you use it, as I said, as just the most wonderful safety net. He's a self-employed plumber who had saved nothing for retirement. Well, see, he's cool now and is in his 50s. He went directly to our accountant who was helping him manage the money. The accountant gave him $10,000 to have some immediate fun.
That's great.
I love it. But most importantly, he now has retirement. Yeah, he doesn't have to. Boy, he can sleep at night. He's still working hard every day as if nothing has changed. He just sleeps easier at night. I'm really happy for him.
That's great.
Yep, that's a good story.
Yeah, 10,000 is a good amount to have fun with.
Yeah, here's some mad money.
Yeah,
10,000.
tickets for-
Yeah, right. Goodbye. Do what you want with it. That'd do it. Roger says, by the way, I don't play the lottery. Whoever called it the stupid tax was spot on. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely get that. And I'll be damned. I do pay, I pay my share, but I'm not going to. And it's so sad to see the very people who can't afford increased taxation are the ones that buy the tickets, which is why I think it's an outrage that the government, the state, preys on the very people who can't afford it. It's despicable. Beth writes, if I won a huge jackpot like that, I would hold on to the ticket and create a nonprofit foundation. Then I would donate the ticket to that foundation, thus paying no taxes. Oh, can you donate a ticket? Yeah, I suppose you could. After no, wait. I bet you can't do that after the ticket is known to be a winner. Once it's a winner, you have that ticket. I don't think you can avoid the taxes. That's my bet.
Yeah,
although I happen to know Beth is an accountant, though. But still, I don't see how that. Beth, rethink that. You think? Okay, that is a great. I like the way you're thinking. She said, I would then be an employee of that foundation and take that taxed income over years and employ some other people. The newfound influence you could have with a foundation, with a fund of over $300 million, could make some serious policy changes wherever you're living or even in the country. Yeah. But for people who are just regular folk, not used to imagining themselves in such a position, it's just paralyzing. I mean, I don't... Roger says, isn't it nice to talk about something besides Voldemort? Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Thank God, Mavis! Thank you for the lottery. And your win. Yes, it is. Perfect. Thank you. And we are grateful. Bill writes, hi, Lynn. I had uncles on both sides of my family that were number writers before the lottery was a legal thing. My grandmother, who couldn't speak English, certainly knew how the numbers games worked and enjoyed playing a dime here or there. My Aunt Mary played triples every day. You always knew when Aunt Mary hit. She was also a kleptomaniac, but that's another story. Well, that's a good one. You can share that one with us, too. By the way, that break must have been restful. You look fantastic. William, I blush. Okay, is that it? No, Ansel. We got Ansel. Ansel writes, when you have money, you value things less than you do when you don't have money.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's just my theory. Yeah. But the interest alone on that amount of money would fund many charities. No, absolutely. Anybody, you could stick that, just take it and put it somewhere, and yeah, what the interest it throws off is too much for you to handle as well. Oh, dear. I don't know. Mavis. Shit. Somebody help her. And get that gum out of your mouth. All right. Well, that was a good run, guys, because thank you. See? Emails. But now I'm fucked. I'm screwed.
Okay.
I mean, whatever. You know, a story that creeps me out is this story that's not getting a lot of attention about our embassy staff and members of their family suffering strange neural ailments. These are people who were in Havana. Have you heard about this?
No.
At first, the embassy in Havana didn't see that there was a pattern, but, one employee would all of a sudden be getting vertigo, another was having trouble with their ears, another was having headaches, one of their children would become sick, and it's now been learned that one of our diplomats there suffered a mild traumatic brain injury with the likely damage to their central nervous system. 6 of our people in Havana were flown back to the States for medical care and diagnosis. One of them found to have a serious blood disorder. Whether that's involved too, they don't know. But what the Americans think is that the Cubans were employing some kind of sonic wave machine. What? A sonic wave machine. Experts suspect a sonic attack on embassy employees while they're in their homes, because their homes, it didn't target the embassy. It targeted the homes in which our embassy staff lived, because the Cubans provide the homes. So they would have access to the homes. One possible theory is that some new eavesdropping equipment that they were using went kaplooey and created these sonic waves. And I don't know. Washington has expelled 2 of Havana's diplomats because of this. But it hasn't gotten much attention. But my God, felled by a sonic wave machine.
That's spooky.
Yeah, some of them have, more than one, have suffered hearing loss. I don't know how severe. They're saying it looks like, permanent neural damage to others. And because it was homes, there's some children involved as well. Unbelievable. Margaret, what do I got here? Hang on. Marcy, I'm trying to get to you here. Lynn, maybe one day you could have a lottery official on as a guest. I think that would be boring. What do you think? Any official in those kinds of capacities.
Maybe a lottery winner.
A lottery winner would be different. Okay. Yeah. Oh, but Marcy says, but then they could share how the rules work for us folks who don't know the answers. What do you think? I think no, because first of all, I don't believe in the lottery. I'm against it. I remember in some class when I was in grade school, we were doing some kind of debate, and I took the side that the Catholic Church having bingo, playing bingo in their basements was an outrage. I don't know where I got this from, this absolute aversion to gambling. And bingo was part of that. I mean, it was just... Have you ever seen the old ladies who play 400 bingo cards at the same time?
No.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. I mean, when I was a TV reporter, I ended up in some Catholic church's basement. And there are these table after table of these old ladies. And some of them have those little felt markers, but none of them are playing just one card.
Yeah.
They're playing a lot. Some are playing and they're not even marking. They can see all those numbers. They know. What? I mean, those are geniuses. Isn't that some kind of a genius thing?
Yeah. It reminds me of the women at the casino with the slots.
Same
Yeah, but
same types.
Chain smoking.
I know. Just
yeah.
Oh, you poor people. Anyway. So the guy, the Texas judge who's overseeing the county's emergency response down there said, I don't know if we're going to have an mandatory evacuation. He said this last night. We'll do it, I guess, if we feel it's necessary. I mean, it'd create a major, major impact on the way a lot of people around here do business. What? Hello, Your Honor. It's not about doing business. It's about saving people's lives, right? Apparently, there hasn't been a landfall, a hurricane landfall, in the United States in over 10 years. How's that possible?
Since Katrina?
I think it's not even Katrina. When was Katrina?
06.
You remember that? 06? Well, that's 11 years.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Oh, I am so glad to turn on CNN. You can turn on CNN now, and we're back to like anchors blowing around in the wind. It is so much more enjoyable. More than 45% of U.S. petroleum refining capacity lies along the Gulf Coast, as well as over half of our total natural gas processing plant. Okay, well, fill up your tank right now because those prices are going to be going up. So, I've talked about Billy Nardozy before, right? Have you seen the billboard?
I have. I just saw it recently.
I don't know if it's the only one. Does he have more than one out, do you think? Maybe it's just that one.
I'm trying to remember where I saw it.
You saw? Well, I saw it on Bigelow.
Yeah.
Bigelow.
Yeah.
At that crazy intersection, Heron,
Yeah.
Bigelow,
Down to
Polish
Hill,
Hill, where it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to be sitting there for a long, long time. There's like 6 streets moving in. And boy, I saw it about 2 weeks ago, and I almost got in a car accident. I really did. I thought, oh my God, look at that. Billy Nardozy. I often complain that Pittsburgh used to have so many wonderful characters, and they're all gone.
Yeah. There you go.
And I was saying nasty things about Billy for years.
Really?
For years. Because I think his poetry is...
Isn't that the point, though?
That it's bad?
Yeah.
Not to him.
Oh.
Do you think he...
No, but I thought that was part of the...
Well, that's part of what makes him a character, but
Yeah.
I mean... I just sort of didn't like the fact that when I like looking at the people who've been married 60 years, looking at their wedding picture and then looking at them now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it without coming upon Billy Nardozy and his latest poem. And then he comes out as a cross-dresser, which is simply wonderful. And so if you haven't seen the billboard, he's wearing diamond rings, I think, and diamond earrings.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
And a lovely top. He's dressed in women's clothes, has his hair. I like it's better than the mullet. And he's got nice polish on his, and it just, the billboard says, Billy Nardozy, Pittsburgh's premier poet. Do you know, if somebody's not from Pittsburgh and they see that, can you imagine? They say, what the fuck? But it's perfect. I love it.
Some good
love
alliteration,
it.
too. Yeah.
What?
Good alliteration.
Oh, another alliteration, right. Pittsburgh's premier poet. So Billy once shut me up for good because I used to make fun of him.
Yeah.
And then he wrote me a poem.
Really?
So one day I'm opening up the paper, doing what I do, and I hit the celebration section and I see Billy and I think, oh no. But it's a poem to me. And it's so sweet. He disarmed me by saying something so kind and so nice about it, because he's a nice guy. You can tell he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And so he wrote me this sweet poem. And I thought, how smart. After someone writes you a sweet poem like that, you can't say anything negative about him anymore. So he disarmed me immediately.
When was that?
Maybe about 2-3 years ago. 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see it?
No, but I saw the time when you talked about it on your show. It was 2015.
How'd you do that so fast?
I looked up Billy Nardozy, Lynn Cullen.
Oh, well, see if you can find the poem.
I'll try.
Okay. So now Brian O'Neill has written a number of columns about him. Brian loves him. And so he now has written one to Brian, who says that it's going to be one of his most cherished. Here, I got Brian's. Something for my friend Brian O'Neill. Are you? I don't want to do too much Nardozy poetry. Are you?
I can't.
You can't find it.
Yeah.
Nah. Too bad.
It just says Billy Nardozy plays a trump card, which I believe means that would be when he did it.
He outmaneuvered me.
Yeah.
Billy! Maybe I'll have you on someday, huh? We should have Billy on. Right. His Brian O'Neill poem is this. For those of you who don't know Billy, I'll give you a taste, because this is the one he wrote for one of our columnists here. I thank you, Brian O'Neill, for the very nice thing you've done. You have written about my billboard, but it is you that is number one. That's it that's sort of the, yeah. Some people think it's good poetry.
Okay.
For your writing is very professional, and it shows so very well, because you seem to choose the right words that seem to ring that startup bell. And so I thank you again, good friend, for your interest in my poetry, Cachet.
Cachet?
Cachet?
How does he spell it?
Well, it's spelled bizarrely. Cachet? No, Cachet.
Cachet? I don't know.
So I thank you again, good friend, for your interest in my poetry, Cachet. And last but not least, I do thank you for your Paris of Appalachia. Oh, he needed to rhyme Appalachia. Well, Billy, you're never going to be the poet laureate of the country, I'll tell you that right now. But we will definitely lay claim to you as Pittsburgh's premier poet. And I'm an honest person. I don't really get your poetry, but I get the sweetness. Yeah. Okay, we got more. Josh writes, remember these classic lyrics? It's funny how wrong we are when we see the lyrics written out versus listening to the song. What is it? Money, get away. Get a good job with good pay and you're okay. Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. New car, caviar, 4-star daydream. Think I'll buy me a football team. Money, get back. I'm all right, Jack. Keep your hands off my stack. I don't know this song.
It's Pink Floyd.
Oh! Now I got it. Money, it's a hit. Don't give me that goody good bullshit. I'm in the high fidelity first class traveling set, and I think I need a Lear jet. Yeah. Money. It's true. I remember asking for a raise once when I was a reporter at WTAE-TV, and I asked the general manager for a raise, and he said, well, then I'll tell you. Sure, I could give you the raise, but I'm going to tell you something. No matter how much I give you, your standard of living is going to rise to meet it so that you are going to feel immediately that it's not enough and you need another one. And he was saying that, as you get money, you start to spend it, you live a certain way, and then I need more money. Yeah. And then he said it's never enough. Now, that was a nice thing for him to say. I needed a raise.
I was going to say at a certain point.
Yeah, okay, they got, good patter, but listen, buddy. And that's where the song goes. Money, it's a crime. Share it fairly, but don't take a slice of my pie. Money, so they say, is the root of all evil today. But if you ask for a raise, I'm sorry, I didn't. But if you ask for a raise, it's no surprise they're giving none away. Yeah, okay. And Tom writes, because of my work schedule, today is the first time I've got to see you live since you got back. I agree with William. The break did you well. You look great. Jeez, you guys. Gonna go to my head. Samuel writes, Mavis is about to be put through the ringer. I know. Studies have been done on lottery winners. Studies have been done on lottery winners. Where am I? This is what I get when I try to read my... About a third are able to successfully manage the money. That's higher than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Another third end up in the same proportion of debt they started with, and the remaining third, their lives are literally destroyed. Wow. So that means 2/3. It either end up the same or
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
Only 1/3. Wow. Samuel says, I knew a young woman who won $5 million here in the Washington State lottery. Her husband almost immediately hired a private investigator to follow her. The PI videoed the wife in local bars engaging in behaviors more consistent with a single person. What a diplomatic way. Gee, Samuel, have you thought about the State Department? There followed a divorce. The husband was granted custody of both their children, the house, and, of course, his half of the lottery proceeds. Never underestimate the power of video. The woman ended up quitting her job as postmaster of a small Washington town and got herself reassigned as a postal clerk in a small city about 50 miles away. She later became postmaster of an office in a very isolated place. And during these events, I personally observed people taking advantage of this unfortunate lady due to her having all of a couple of million. Yeah, doesn't sound like it did anything good for her. Jeez. Ronald, hi, Lynn, on a completely unrelated subject. I asked a recent graduate of a local high school who our first president was. I haven't looked ahead, but I'm sure I'm not going to like where this is going. Okay, who do you think she said?
Lincoln.
She answered Abraham Lincoln. How'd you know that?
It's pretty famous. I don't know.
It's the one they know?
I got to say, though, if you know Lincoln, how can you not know?
Now, Ronald's writing from Florida. Now, that's interesting. Ronald's writing from Florida, and Samuel was writing from Washington State. Who knew? Brooke says, this is about as close to a fun Friday as we've ever had. That's pathetic. Mavis, God bless you. Mavis, have you seen Governor John Hickenlooper and Ohio Governor John Kasich have entertained the idea of forming a unity presidential ticket to run for the White House in 2020? I did hear about that. That ain't going to happen, I'll tell you right now. Hickenlooper is a sort of middle-of-the-road Democrat, very popular guy. Kasich, we know, what passes for a moderate in the Republican Party now. So they thought they'd get together. I don't. Which one of them's going to be the president? Which one's going to be the vice president? They're going to run without either party behind. It is bullshit. It won't work. And also, it won't work in any way. And in fact, could take away, it seems to me, from the Democrats' chance of taking back the White House. So my initial reaction to that is no. I mean, Hickenlooper on his own might be a good candidate. And I would normally have said some years ago, but with a name like Hickenlooper, I mean, but then we've had a president named Barack Obama, so all names are...
Hussein.
Barack Hussein Obama. And Russ writes, this might be a dumb question, but what does Billy Nardozy do for a living? I think he...
I have no idea.
He works in a state store, I think. I think he's a clerk of some sort, retailish. That's what I think. And that's from Brian writing about him. I assume he has to pay to have his poetry printed. Yeah, God knows what he pays.
Wait, he pays?
Oh, yeah, what? This is, you can't get, you want to put a poem in the paper? Oh. All of these celebrations.
Right.
Sorry,
I thought he was paid to do this.
No.
Wow.
You pay. He's buying that space once a week. Now he's bought a whole damn billboard. It's his pleasure. It's his genuine pleasure. Yay! Maybe a new era of Pittsburgh characters. Billy, you're my guy. Yeah, he has to pay. How does this generate revenue for him, and does he have a separate profession? Well, I think he doesn't have much of a... Yeah, he's a hard-working guy, apparently, but I think it's It's nothing where he makes a lot of money, but then I don't think he requires a lot.
Yeah.
This is how he spends his money. You know, you might spend it on this. He spends it on, he gives it to the Post-Gazette.
It's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. Okay, we're done. I can't believe this. Yeah, thank God this was a nice day. And I guess have a nice weekend. And we'll be back Monday. Yeah, same place, same station. And wait till you see where we'll be in 2 weeks. I don't know. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I so mess up the end. When I was an acting student in New York, the head of the acting school once said to me, my name was Miller at the time, Miller, you couldn't make an exit if your life depended on it. And I think that's why I can't end ever, because that damn Sanford Meisner's in my head. You can't make an exit if you're me. Fuck you, Meisner. Bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.